All right, folks, the Georgia Special Grand Jury, they've completed their investigation into Donald Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election. The Atlanta area Special Grand Jury, they're going to issue a final report that serves as a mechanism for the Special Grand Jury to recommend to Fulton County DA Attorney Fani Willis to pursue an indictment of election interference. If she decides to pursue the indictment, she can have a regular grand jury impaneled. She's also been investigating Donald Trump and his associates for 2 years, looking into claims of election fraud, an electoral scheme, efforts by unauthorized individuals to access voting machines, and threats and harassment against election workers. Judge Robert McBurney, who's been overseeing the Fulton County Special Grand Jury investigation, has scheduled a hearing for January 24th for the Fulton County DA's office and others to argue whether the special grand jury's report should be made public. This right here, Renita, is a very big deal because the reality is Donald Trump and all of his folks have not been held accountable for what took place, their involvement when it came to the 2020 election. And so this may be one of the best chances for that to actually happen.
Absolutely. And this investigation will have far-reaching consequences, we hope, that justice is served, because it's not just about Donald Trump. As you mentioned, there are so many different layers to this that do directly affect Georgia. For example, the person who will be installed later this week for the next lieutenant governor of Georgia is Burt Jones. He was actually a fake elector. He is one of those people who pretended to be a legitimate elector in order to change the results of the election and reinstall and install the former president. So there are a lot of things tied to this investigation, and we are all hoping that justice will be served because what we have seen and what we know is that it is really difficult to hold white men accountable in this country. And I don't know anybody who isn't sick of that being the case.
You know, we've watched this thing play out, and it is as if, Omakongo, that no one wants to step up and hold Donald Trump accountable. And then one of the things that we keep hearing is, and we see the threats, if they do this, how his supporters are going to respond. Mm-hmm. Last I checked, above the U.S. Supreme Court, it says equal justice under law. Now, no one that shouldn't even be a conversation about, someone being scared of what may happen. If he or others broke the law, they must be held accountable, just like you or I would be.
Period, bottom line. I mean, and people are talking about this past Friday was 2-year commemoration. Some people calling it an anniversary. It's not an anniversary, commemoration of the insurrection. But my response to that was the insurrection is still ongoing. Look at the people who are in the House right now, the Matt Gaetzes and the Marjorie Taylor Greenes, and how they have more power, and they haven't been held accountable. And Donald Trump hasn't been held accountable. We're seeing spillover effects in places like Brazil, for goodness sakes. So really, at the end of the day, and we talk about Merrick Garland, he had a rock solid case, and then he turned it over to Jack Smith and the special counsel. But at the end of the day, even with Smith's findings, he still has to come back to Garland and Garland has to sign off on whatever happens. So these people are delaying, and I don't really know what's going to happen. But I am very proud of what Fani Willis has been doing, of what Letitia James has been doing, what the council led by Benny Thompson, the committee led by Benny Thompson. And it seems like our black representatives and elected officials are more interested in holding Trump accountable than some of these other people. And really, at the end of the day, if that's what we got, that's what we got, because this cannot continue. This cannot go on the way it has been going on, because as we move towards 2024, it is only going to get worse, because there are people, Representative Shannon just talked about, one of the people was a fake elector, and now they're in charge. So they're getting stronger and stronger, and if Trump is not held accountable, they are making room for him to return in 2024, enemies list and all.
There has to be accountability, Julian, and here's my whole deal. All right. So you're going to have a hearing. It should be made public. Mm-hmm. It should be. It's in the public's interest to find out what this special grand jury discovered.
The whole thing, Roland, is troubling because what you're seeing is amazing caucasity across party lines. In other words, there's too much protection for the 45th president. They don't want, everybody's like, oh, well, what happens if we indict a president? Well, that's what happens. The EMF goes to jail. I mean, it ain't that deep. But
well, first of all, if it gets indicted, it goes to trial. And then found guilty, he goes to jail. But yeah, I don't care if he's a former president. If you break the law, I mean, look, Spiro Agnew broke the law. He was the vice president of the United States, was forced to resign. And?
But the point is this. They are covering up for this man. Even Democrats who have somewhat good sense are concerned about the precedent. Well, the precedent is that we've never had a president who stole, lied, cheated, and up to impeachment twice. Get your hind parts out the story. And too many people cover up for him. That's all I have to say. Too many people are covering up. And beyond that, Roland, the frightening thing is that what this means to our young people. I got to get back to that as an educator. What are we telling our young people about cheating, lying, stealing? We're telling them if that Maryland farmer, y'all know what I mean, Maryland farmer gets away with this, it's telling young people you can cheat, lie, and steal. So I am flabbergasted about all of this and annoyed that the mainstream media, unlike you, Roland Martin, the mainstream media is making this like, oh, well, it's just whatever. I mean, they're more agitated, but they agitated enough. Turn this Maryland farmer out. Get him out of any kind of influence. I was repulsed when Marjorie Taylor Greene is holding her phone up saying, I've got DT on the phone. Come on now. This is what we're dealing with, and we're going 2 years into 2024 or a year and a half, and we've got to make sure that people with sense repulse this thing. That's where I am. And if she's, excuse me, I'm a little agitated, but I'm just disturbed about the way that caucasity has allowed this man to do what he does, and that these 15 ballots, okay, dude, you want to be the speaker more than a hungry man wants a hamburger.
Well,
okay.
Renee, what it also, why you have to see it through, because if you don't, what you're basically saying to any future politician, do the exact same thing, and that'll be enough cover for you not to be held accountable. Well,
correction, do the same thing and also be a white man. That's the important part, because we know that if this had been if President Obama would have tried this would not have even been a thing. It would not take this long to get justice. This would not have even happened, because we all know what would have actually happened had he tried it. So, I mean, I do think that it's just very important for, all of us to get justice out of this situation. And to Julianne's point, it's crazy because the mainstream media is not talking about Merrick Garland's dereliction of duty. They are not talking about how swiftly justice could be served. And so, as Dr. Malveaux pointed out, it's really elected officials on both sides of the aisle who are covering for this person and who are moving very slowly towards justice. And like I said, I think the root of all of this is there is just still such a resistance in this country to actually hold white men accountable. That is what is at the bottom of this. So.
Well, you're absolutely right, and it's unfortunate what we continue to see. On Congo, just a few moments ago, Republicans did push through their rules package. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this up here. The link here. And so Kevin McCarthy was able to secure the particular votes. It passed 220 to 213, again, by 2 votes. Texas Republican Tony Gonzalez stood by his point. He voted with Democrats in voting against the measure. And so, again, now here's the deal. You did have some folks like South Carolina's Representative Nancy Mace who was unsure. But now what you have is now you have what's going on again. Look, they're going to try to move to repeal rolling back the $80 billion in funding to the IRS. But as we already know, it don't matter because it ain't going to get through the Senate.
And that's what when Hakeem Jeffries talked about kangaroo courts, that's what Congress is going to be. They're going to put forth, or the House is going to be. They're going to put forth so much that's just not going to go anywhere. They're going to be a do-nothing house, and they're going to spend a lot of our money, Roland. It's our money, our taxpayer dollars, on these false investigations, working to impeach Biden. Some story came out today about some files that the vice president had that the archives needed, and that's going to blow up, and they're going to use that to try to impeach him. They are fully content on wasting our resources, and to be quite honest, I think it'll be probably about a week or two before one of them decides that they want to try to have a vote to get McCarthy out. They are twiddling their fingers and raising money off of their ignorance, and really at the end of the day, they got this rules package going through, but every bill that he tries to get through, every package he tries to get through is going to be a fight. And I just really hope at the end of the day, we are fully paying attention. And he is not some great politician and leader. He got this position because of redistricting. And really at the end of the day, he's not going to go anywhere in 2024 if we do our work.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Your money makes this possible. Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.